And it's more or less perfect weather for an indoor race. Nice and cool. But first on the deck, it's time for a bit of pre-race nutrition. Some highly branched chain cyclic dextrin gets into the bloodstream quicker, and given that I'm training early in the morning, I don't want to be digesting stuff pre-race. Amino acids, exactly the same. And of course, cold coffee. What would life be without cold coffee? Right on, good morning to you, hope you're all well. Now today's climb's quite interesting because Ed Laverack, Gus, Ruben and Quinton are all taking part in the same race. It's 3 ascents of the Ford KOM. And Quinton's off, not feeling good. I don't know why my power seems to be stuck there. Ed's a gent, isn't he? He's dropped back for me here. That's really nice of him. I've literally just finished the climbing race, the Lutcher course, 3 ascents including the lead-in of the Ford KOM at Innsbruck. And I was racing against Quinton, Ruben, and then Gus and Ed were playing a role of super domestique. So super grateful for that. And the race was a hell of a lot of fun, as expected. Ruben, who is literally a powerhouse in terms of WKG, left us all for dead. And I got dropped on the first climb because I was trying to kind of play myself in. But over the course of the second climb, aided by Ed Laverack, as I say, super domestique, kind of dragged me back into contention. And by the foot of the first climb, we were all together, the 4 of us. Gus, super domestique for Quinton, Ed for myself. And it was one hell of a final climb. I thought I was going to break Quinton there with just an infernal pace, and I put in a little attack at 360, but he responded, and then he executed one of Ed Laverack's race attacks. You may remember the video that I had on that, where he put in a blistering attack and then held a really nice high threshold pace for a period of time, and really I didn't have the heart rate or energy to respond to it. So maximum respect, Quinton. You thoroughly deserved the win and one hell of a race. He got an FTP increase as well. And for me, what all this really shows is that it's just the power of Zwift and the cycling community to really lift your spirits. I'm ever so grateful to everybody on the live chat for encouraging me on, and you know, everyone watching Quinton's and Ed's streams as well. It was, you know, a huge amount of fun, very grateful, and yeah, onwards basically, but thank you all so much. And now for the post-race nutrition. I've already ingested this green supplement from Phil Richards, loads of nice minerals and vitamins in there to help the process of recovery. And then to repair muscle damage, I'm going to be using a vegan protein that uses pea protein as the primary source of amino acids, or a whey protein, which is obviously an animal product and not suitable for vegans. Mix it all in with the blueberries and obviously the coconut milk. Delivers amino acids to help repair muscle damage, and the blueberries, vitamin C to calm the body down and get rid of all that cortisol and adrenaline. The pea protein, well, probably a scoop and a half, I think that will give about 30 grams of protein and amino acids, which is about what you need after a hard workout. Steve Domingos, thank you ever so much for your question in the live stream, and hopefully this answers it in terms of me using either the vegan pea protein from Reflex or the PhD whey protein in order to repair muscle damage and get the body ready for the next training session or race. The greens were from Phil Richards, which is exactly the same as my pre-workout or pre-race nutrition, where I'm using Phil Richards amino work capacity. And again, I think the aminos are fine for vegans because they're just the building blocks of the protein itself, and I don't think that supplement contains any animal products or anything like that. And finally, if I'm racing, I'll have a carbohydrate supplement. If I'm just training, I'll do the training fasted with just the amino acids and the coffee. The carbohydrate supplement here just happens to be one of my old bodybuilding supplements. Highly branched chain cyclic dextrin. It's a smaller carbohydrate molecule, gets much faster absorbed into the bloodstream and therefore the muscle tissue. But any other carbohydrate supplement should be fine, because most of it's quite fast digesting, and it's exactly for that reason that I drink a full fat Coke sometimes during a race as well.
I'm in the doghouse, so now I'm having to clean without mercy. Check this out. Jane wanted to support one of the local food shops in Covent Garden, and this is what they've just delivered. So here we have the most important ingredients, the carbohydrates. They look phenomenal. That looks very, very nice indeed. Some dried fruit, favourite blueberries, avocados, very nice indeed. Granola, nice. The cheese, I hate cheese. I think that might be a butternut squash. And bananas in there, hiding away, broccoli. But all in all, very nice indeed. Well, Tyson Fury, eat your heart out. Anyway, today was meant to be a breakaway training. However, yesterday was pretty hard. Yes, it was only a 24-minute race, but looking here at the heart rate, you can see heart rate peaked at 189, 181 for 20 minutes. And basically I had heart rate PBs across the board over 5 seconds through 20 minutes. So I'm feeling it today, and I'm not even going to do any zone 2. I'm just going to give the body a full rest and, you know, resume with the training tomorrow, Friday. So on the deck is a whole bunch of work I'm going to plough through. Also going to watch, just hit the pause there on Ed undertake stage 15 of the Tour de France in homage to Simon Yates. But a good day to recuperate, pamper yourself and prepare for the next day. I referenced just earlier that I'm taking a full day off the bike today because yesterday's race was so hard and I hit all those different heart rate PBs. 181 for the 20 minutes through 189 for the 5 seconds. Obviously was working super hard, really enjoyed the race, very happy with the placing, 32nd, but I was there at the bunch sprint at the end against a very high caliber field. And during the race, in the live chat and also in the comments afterwards, people were saying, look, Phil, you're not riding efficiently. You got Agnes saying, take advantage of the draft. You got Tim saying, my watts per kilogram is too high versus others. You got Old Slow saying, look, Phil, you've got to learn to ride in the pack. Don't be surging up the front all the time. And John L was saying, look, it looked like an FTP test, but you need to make more use of the draft. Others are riding much more efficiently, and everybody's right, of course. Clearly, I'm not trying to ride off the front, and I felt that I was in the pack most of the time. But clearly I'm doing something wrong, because I was like 299 watts on average, 4.7 watts a kilogram, and that was right up there with those that were winning the race, with far less watts per kilogram. So after the race, Tim Fulford reached out to me and said, look, it might be quite interesting for him to do a voiceover of key parts of the race to say where exactly it is that I'm going wrong, because it's going to be helpful for me, but helpful for anyone else that's trying to kind of get better at Zwift racing. So after a predictably fast start, here at 2 minutes 30, there's a breakaway attempt. And personally, I don't want the breakaway to stay away. Of course, I do understand that here in the peloton, it's going to be very fast and therefore the breakaway is unlikely to succeed. So I proclaim to everybody in the live chat that I'm not going to do the chasing. I'm not doing the chasing.
But I do elect to stick on the wheel of F. Bruno to reel him back in, benefiting from his draft. And sure enough, by 3 minutes 20, order is restored.
Pain face is deployed.
Okay, so I accidentally do go off the front here, but I ease straight off the power and I'm instantly embraced back into the sanctuary of the wheels.
This is hell.
A very brief cameo roll on the front. The naked eye could barely spot it.
Wish I'd had the Red Bull. Okay, a little more yo-yoing towards the front and back into the middle, but all in all, okay I reckon. The pace of the bunch eases off, and I respond probably a little too generously and slip 40 places in 5 seconds. Another breakaway, and this needs to be eradicated, and I follow on, and clearly here, at no point am I leading the spearhead of law, order and general racing justice.
Cheers, Tim.
Mentally, I congratulate myself on a splendid job in terms of stopping just short of going off the front. Omnipresent at the sharp end, but I hope you'll agree here, never off the very front. Two kilometres to go, and it's time now to be hyper-vigilant of the late breakaway attempt from those like me who lack the big sprint but still have some heart rate left in the bank. I'm school hall monitor, not on my watch. Flamme Rouge, and it's time to lock onto the glide slope and land this plane. Plus, try to remember what to do in order to go above 400 watts with heart rate 185. Hashtag Ed Laverack lightly in the mid 150s. Trying still to stay off the very front here. And with 300 metres to go, I devise a cunning plan and launch a sprint, well, a sprint of sorts, that just about scrapes 600 watts on a couple of occasions. Let's call it a Chris Pritchard light, and I end up in 32nd place, but only 3 seconds down on the victors. And by the way, kudos to Gus, who got a podium.
Oh, dear me. Ah. Dear me.